Breaking news today. Worst case scenario for Biden. Russia starts World War III over Ukraine. There is tragedy in the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine. However, escalation to a major war with dire consequences is possible. Especially considering the close relationship Ukraine has with the West and the USA. One of the most crucial aspects of the conflict is, therefore, whether or not the massive casualty counts being accrued in the struggle for cities like Bakhmut and Kherson will prompt more direct foreign intervention, such as from the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, is a military alliance consisting of 31 independent governments. After World War II, the Allies formed NATO to counteract Soviet influence in Europe. When NATO was first formed, it was instrumental in averting what was thought to be a real threat from the Soviet Union. However, NATO has been used to invade Afghanistan, train Iraqis, aid in counter-piracy operations, and enforce a no-fly zone in Libya in the years following the collapse of the Soviet Union. Article 5 of the North Atlantic Treaty, which states that all member states must come to the aid of any member state subjected to armed attack, is the cornerstone of the NATO alliance. Article 5 of the NATO Charter is a key reason for this importance. And it's because of Article 5 that Russia is against Ukraine joining NATO. Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine was in large part due to NATO's courtship of Ukraine. Russia's position was crystal clear. Having NATO so close to Russia's border, in Ukraine, was intolerable, as the country rightly sees NATO as an enemy alliance. It was wise of NATO members to reject Ukraine's membership application despite the fact that the courtship alone caused irreparable damage and helped spark the Russo-Ukrainian War. If Ukraine were a full member of NATO, Russia's invasion would be in violation of Article 5 of the treaty. Thankfully, that won't occur. Simply put, the results would be disastrous. Not to put down our allies in the United Kingdom, the Germanic countries, France, and Italy. A conflict between Russia and NATO is really a conflict between Russia and the United States. Given that the United States and Russia have the world's two largest stockpiles of nuclear weapons, any NATO engagement against Russia would fall primarily on the shoulders of the United States. For nearly half a century, the threat of open conflict between the United States and the Soviet Union haunted the global community. The fact that war was avoided is a political miracle that should be respected even now. Despite the obvious tragedy of what is happening in Ukraine, neither the United States nor NATO have a compelling reason to become directly involved in the conflict. Russia has been shown to be helpless, unable to do anything so simple as secure territory in eastern Ukraine. What, then, is NATO so concerned about? Even Western Ukraine is not in danger from Russia, let alone Western Europe. This means that the sole purpose of any military intervention by the United States or NATO in Ukraine would be to protect Ukrainian territory. And it wouldn't be worth the cost in lives or money to accomplish that. It's not worth the potential catastrophe of a nuclear exchange. In order to avoid an all-out war with Russia, NATO should not admit Ukraine as a member.